You want to know who pays for ostomy supplies. Having an ostomy requires ostomy supplies. So naturally, the question who pays for ostomy supplies comes up. So back a few years ago, when I was waiting to get discharged from the hospital, I realized that I wasn't really sure how much I was going to be paying for the ostomy supplies I had to have from then onward. Or maybe I wouldn't have to pay for the ostomy supplies. Well, I figured that we had better find out who pays and who pays how much, if it is a split responsibility. My first exploratory steps to deciding the products for me. So when I arrived home, I first relaxed, and I have to tell you openly, I was very happy to be home. I am sure you would have been as happy as I was. As things settled in, by the next few days, I had a visit from my home care nurse, and I realized that I needed to investigate other supply companies and what they had available. The nurse talked to me about what other patients used and things that they had done that helped them out. We talked about the types of bags and wafers. Especially the bags, there is an enormous amount of selection to choose from. She even gave me a few company samples to see and use. That would then help me out in figuring out what would work for me. What I was comfortable using, as I would be the one dealing with and using the equipment. Determining the cost, the steps to take. During my first few weeks, the equipment I was using was some ostomy bags and wafers the hospital nurses gave me when I was being discharged. At that time, I was paying little attention to the whole thing. I just wanted to get home after 6 days in the hospital. In this article, you will learn. You want to know who pays for Ostomy Supplies. Me first exploratory steps to deciding the products for me, determining the cost, the steps to take, where the payment responsibility lies, difference between a prosthetic device and a medical device, ostomy supplies and choices. Now I was paying attention. I decided from my sample examples what worked for me. At that time, I say at that time, because things will change for you the more experienced you are and the more you see what your needs are. I called a supply company that was recommended by my colorectal surgeon's office. We got an account set up, and I found out what my copay would be on each order. Now that part was done. I now had an idea what my per month cost was going to be, as I planned out when I was going to change everything, and then how long my supply would last for me. Where the payment responsibility lies. Your order will usually arrive at your home within a week. Once it does, you will have an invoiced cost. And then I checked in week number 2 with my account with my supplier online. Usually by the 8 to 14 days after your order has been shipped and processed with your insurance, then you will be billed by your supply company for the part of the order the insurance company did not cover. That then will be your cost and your responsibility. So that is how it works for me. It may work differently for you, as everyone's insurance situation will probably not be the same. So there will be some payment that you personally will need to pay for. They are treated under insurance programs as what is determined to be of medical device. Since I am now on government mandated, because of my age, Medicare, I know that Medicare covers these supplies as prosthetic devices. Difference between a prosthetic device and a medical device. So a prosthetic device is defined the following way, referring to a prosthesis, an artificial substitute or replacement of a part of the body such as a tooth, eye, a facial bone, the palate, a hip, a knee or another joint, the leg, an arm, etc. A prosthesis is designed for functional or cosmetic reasons, or both. So as you can see, an ostomy is an addition to my body that now serves the purpose of a normal body function. This body function used to be that my normal functions are the same for well over 99% of the population, but having an ostomy puts me in with a very small minority. Probably 1 in 100,000 people will actually have an ostomy. For more information, if you are coming up on 65 years of age and Medicare, you may go to the Medicare page for what and how ostomy supplies are covered. By going to this page, click now for Medicare.gov. FDA description of ostomy supplies. So is an ostomy bag and the wafer that is part of it considered a medical device? Great question. Actually, the FDA, the Federal Drug Administration, has deemed an ostomy bag a medical device. See this page for this description. Go here now for the FDA description. All of this to say, with each insurance company they may have your ostomy supplies list as either covered or not covered, and the percentage of coverage will no doubt be set up according to how they list these supplies under your present medical insurance policy. Ostomy supplies and choices. So it's in your court, as you can see. It is up to you how you wish to keep your ostomy in operation. What type of bags do you choose to use? Here are a few of the choices. Some are more economical than others. There are a couple of ostomy supplies companies that will give you some choices in name brand products that you trust for quality ostomy supplies. They are Convatect and Coloplast. I personally use products manufactured by Hollister. That is so because I was exposed to products that matched my need. You may also like to take a look at a few of my suggestions. They are 3 of my favorites in the good that I've found in them. These 3 are all from the manufacturer Hollister. These are from the product lines that I personally use and have extensive experience with. And Premier one-piece drainable pouch cut to fit 1/123, lock and roll, transparent. Click here for today's price. Premier one-piece drainable pouch pre-cut barrier opening with Karaya. Click here for today's price. Premier one-piece drainable pouch with flexed and barrier, transparent. Click here for today's price. Read more about practical things in dealing with an ostomy view related posts below. Hernia belts, do they provide hope, or am I a dope? How did I get a peristomal hernia? My story of being diagnosed with one and then using a stoma hernia support belt. A good idea? Preparing an ostomy emergency travel kit. If you have an ostomy, you owe it to yourself to be prepared. When you are out of the house, you need to be ready for anything, so prepare an emergency bag.